What's up, comic and pop culture fans? This is James with Mint Hunter Comics here, talking about the age-old question of if you buy a grail at a yard sale for just $1, is that ethical? We're going to get into it today. We're going to talk loosely about the general state of dishonesty and a little bit of greed going on from both buyers and sellers out there. The vast majority of sales go nice and smooth, but there's always those people that give this hobby a bad name. In the comments, I want you guys to write if you think it's okay or not okay to rip someone off at a yard sale, someone who flat out doesn't know what they might have. Two announcements. First things first, I am always buying collections and I pay 70 to 80% of anything that's an easy mover or valued at $500 or higher. All other keys I pay a full 60% on. Second announcement, I can finally share that this Friday is Black Friday and I am doing a 1 day only, in person only, you gotta come to the antique shop. I'm gonna be doing 25% off of everything, every last item in the shop, down to the art on the walls, down to the slabs in the cases. This is your chance. So I wanted to talk about some dishonesty in the game from sellers and a buyer standpoint. So talking about like removing comics from a trade after a deal has already been struck. This is one of the most common things that I'll run into if I'm gonna run into any dishonesty at all. So a lot of times if I'm traveling to see a collection and there is a pre-set price that I'm going to be paying for something like this, it goes perfectly smoothly, no issue. But like once a year, I run into someone where it's like very obvious that they removed maybe a big book and we're kind of hoping that I wouldn't see it. It sucks. It definitely does happen. And there's a reason why once I get there, I have to see everything in person before making a deal. The other kind of most common thing, which I think gets a little more leniency, is being so hilariously wrong on the grade. Now, a lot of us aren't professional graders, so of course there's a little leniency here. Sometimes I see a lot of people that think very fine means like almost mid-grade, but that's like a simple re-education thing that I can show them real quick. Obviously, in 2024, we had the biggest scam slab news hit that a couple bad agents, or more than a couple, were somehow removing slabs and putting a less desirable condition book in there and somehow getting it resealed. And that's advanced level scamming. That's like, you gotta be like Mission Impossible to do that. But you know what? Sometimes people get pretty creative in the comic community. It's worth mentioning that I think we're talking about either 1% or less than people are willing to take such dramatic measures and avoid entanglements with the law to take scamming to such a degree, but it's worth noting. Another really common one would be reprints sold as first prints. I say this because this actually just happened to me. I bought a collection and it's on me for not looking. Buyer beware. But it was sold to me that there was a first appearance of Spider-Gwen, and it actually was the reprint. So quick education opportunity, guys. Watch out. The first Spider-Gwen reprint looks dangerously similar to the first print. It's going to come down to basically that box down at the bottom. The UPC box looks a little bit different. So make sure you know that. Don't do what I did, and I definitely paid up for a book that is really like a $3, $4 cover price. Bad agents that are saying a package is either missing or damaged. It's extremely rare that a package will be damaged, but it's not lost on me that something like that can happen. But recently, I actually did catch someone so blatantly in a lie. They said that a copy of their book was damaged, and I actually was able to discern that it was a different copy than the one I had sent them. So they were trying to get a fast one over on me, and I caught them in it red-handed. But I do hear from sellers all the time, especially on eBay, that a lot of people try to do that move of saying something's damaged or flat out missing. It's a really sucky way of screwing over a seller and is one of the most common ones that's been around. You have people changing the deal. Let's say that you agree on a collection and it's maybe a big one, $10,000, and you get there and they say that, you know what, I think some of this stuff's a little bit better. We need to be at 13,000, 14,000. There's things like omitting details. Most famously, if a book is missing a Marvel value stamp, you gotta know it. I've used this example before, but I had an otherwise perfect, almost 9/8 candidate raw of the first Iron Fist, but I had to disclose that it was missing the Marvel value stamp. And I want to say that book sold for just a mere $100. It didn't matter that it was almost a 9/8 candidate raw. Missing a Marvel value stamp really is that detrimental to the grade. There really are all kinds of unfortunate ways that we see greed show its ugly head in this community, and I think especially when you have a down market, there has been a lot of people losing their jobs this year, and other unfortunate financial events sometimes leads to a rise in the greed. It sort of made me have to have my hackles up and be a little bit more on edge, I think, than I have been in recent years to make sure that I'm not being scammed at all times. You gotta look out for number one, which is you, or if you are like how I am now, you gotta look out for your family. But I wanted to come to the crux of the video, which is talking about guilt and a bit of a conscience in the event that you find a grail at a yard sale. Yard sale, flea market, or any sort of situation which obviously you've got someone who doesn't know what they have, maybe selling it for pocket change to you. Is it a right thing to do? I bring this up because I had a gentleman reach out to me, really big fan. I just wanted to let you know that I got a first appearance of Punisher for $1 this past weekend. I couldn't help but think like, ooh, that might be a breach of ethics here. Now, granted, I think a lot of people are in the camp that, you know what, if they're selling it for $1 and you buy it for $1 fair and square, that's on them for not knowing what they had. I get that side, but I also do feel, and I'm really not trying to come across as ethically superior. My God, I would absolutely hate that. I do think, though, there is a morality to this stuff. And maybe it's just because I've got a YouTube channel and it kind of forces me to keep things honest. Would I be so honest if I didn't have a camera on me at all times? I don't know. I'd like to think so. I know for a fact I have absolutely had great yard sale pickups in which I've gotten books for $1. I got my most popular video I've ever had on this channel. I was able to get a low grade first appearance of Constantine for $1 at the side of the road estate sale style yard sale. Did I feel guilt when I got it? Actually, no. The thrill of getting the book was just so amazing that I think it trumped any sort of guilt. But now that was like 3 years ago, I do think back like, Granted, I've never had like a crazy win. I've never found like an ASM 300 and only paid $1 for it. That would be, I think, more ridiculous. But I've had my little wins, and it does make me think. Is there that guilt element or that conscience that comes into play? I want to know what you guys think. Is it okay to simply get a grail for pennies if they're offering it as such? Do you think that you should explain and disclose to whoever's buying, like, hey, by the way, this is the first appearance of Spider-Man. Maybe you shouldn't be selling me this for $1? I also want you guys to write down below what was your best flea market or yard sale find ever. Don't worry about being judged or anything. A lot of us have done it. Doesn't mean it's the right thing. I don't know. I guess we'll never know, but we can talk about it here. I do want to hear what you guys think. And as always, keep on hunting ethically.
Make sure to come on down to Sentiment Depot's Antiques and Collectibles, located at 238 West Delaware Ave in Pennington, New Jersey. Find so many great books for just $1 and the lowest prices on key comics around. Enjoy a huge selection of graded comics priced up to 20% lower than current fair market value. We are open from Wednesday to Sunday, closed Monday, Tuesday. You got a collection you want to sell? Bring that too.